Hello and welcome to this video tutorial. Today we're going to create a pattern like this terrazzo style design in Adobe Illustrator, and we're going to do it without creating any of these complex shapes. Now the first thing we need to do is to find an image to help us along, and for this I've gone to unsplash.com because there you can download images to use. So I went and looked for Greek buildings because I wanted an image that had a lot of detail in it, and so I used this one. But you'll find plenty of images at unsplash.com that you could use. There's these here, anything like this that's pretty busy in terms of small fractured shapes you could use. So I'm just going to use that image that I downloaded, but I'm going to start with a new file. I'm just going to make 1000 by 1000 pixel file in Illustrator, and then I'm going to import the image that I downloaded. So I'm going to File and Place, and here is the image that I'm going to use, and I'm just going to drag it into my Illustrator document. Now at this point, what this image looks like in terms of stretching it and scaling it and stuff like that just does not matter. So you can do what you like with the image. The first thing we're going to do is crop this area out because it's not very helpful. So I'm just going to click on crop. The image has changed from a linked file into an embedded one, but Illustrator's just taken care of that, so I'm not worried about that. I'm just going to select the area that I want, and I'm going to crop the rest away. And now I can stretch this out a little bit if I want. The next thing to do is to turn this image into little pieces, little bits of color. And for that, we're going to use an effect. So we're going to Effect, and then we're going to Effect Gallery. Now you'll want to open the gallery up because it just helps you along the process. So we're going down here to Texture, and we're going to Stained Glass. I'm here at 100%, so let's actually just make this fit on screen because that shows us essentially what we're going to get out of this process. And you can see these tiles are really small. So I'm going to increase my cell size to get much larger tiles because I just don't need that many. So mine's set at about 27. Your ideal size might vary. I'm going to increase the border thickness because I want quite a bit of space between these individual shapes because ultimately I'm going to get rid of the black border. So I might just increase my cell size, and I don't have to worry about light intensity because that's not going to help me in this process because we're only going for a two-color design. So I'm just going to click OK. So this is an image, it's a bitmap image, and it's not vectored yet. So what we need to do is to vectorize it. I'm just going to stretch it a bit because I think those pieces in the glass all looked a bit squashed up. So I'm going to take the time now to just stretch it out a little bit. That's perfect. Next thing is I'm going to image trace. It's up here on the toolbar. If it isn't there for you, you can go to Window and then Image Trace. I'm just going to click Image Trace. I'm warned that this image is really large. Doesn't matter, it's not going to take anywhere near that long to vector trace for me. The problem is, of course, that it's black and white. So we're going here to the tracing dialog. I'm just going to bring that in. I'm going to turn preview off so that Illustrator's not going to do something every time I make a selection here. What I want to do is I want to go in color, and I want limited colors. So I'm going to bring this down to about 9 or 10. Now I'll preview it. So we can see what we get, and I can just click on expand. Now this has been expanded, it's now vectorized, so I can still make it a bit wider if I want to at this point, but it's about to be sort of the last time that I really want to be doing any of this. So I'm just going to stretch this a little bit. So let's have a look in the layers palette and see what that process gave us, that image trace process. So here in the layers palette, I've got a group, and inside that group are individual shapes. So every single one of the shapes in here is inside this group. So we're just going to select the group, and let's just ungroup everything. And let's go to the bottom because there's a chance at the bottom is all of your black. And yes, it is here. This is all the black bits. So what I'm going to do is just select this compound path. I'm just going to press delete, and that gets rid of all the black bits. Now the other thing that I'm saying is that all these edges have been cut off. So I'm going to the selection tool here. I'm just going to select over the edge shapes here and just delete them. So I'm just running across the edge here and deleting these shapes so that I don't have shapes in my mosaic ultimately, or my terrazzo, that have cut off edges. It's just going to look really as if it's been created from something, and we want it to look a little bit more organic. So pretty good here now. One of the things I am going to do is start removing some of these colors, which is why I chose 10 colors and not 2. So what I'm going to do is select one of these colors. I'm going to select and same and then fill color. And now you can see on the screen every single little object that is that fill color has been selected. So I'm just going to press delete. And I might do that once or twice to just try and clean out some of these colors, just remove a little bit of the color in here. Now, if I take this color here, I'm probably going to take too much, but this one might be okay. You can just go to select same, fill color, and just see how much is selected. And if you make a wrong choice, or you think that that's too many objects to remove, then just choose a different color to remove. I'm pretty happy with that. The next thing we're going to do is to shrink everything down. So I'm selecting everything. I'm going to Object Transform and then Transform Each. Transform Each allows us to do a whole lot of things to every single shape that is currently selected. So what I'm going to do is reduce them all to 50%, at least to start off with. Now, I don't want them to actually look this close in size, so instead of just reducing them all to 50% here, what I'm going to do is add a random option, and what that does is it reduces all of them to somewhere between 100% and 50% of their original size. So you can see that we're getting a variety of sizes here. That's a really handy tool to use. Now we can also rotate them around to break up anything that we're seeing here, because you'll see here that I've got their bottom left corner selected, so they're rotating around relative to their bottom left corner. So that's actually, again, breaking up this sort of look we have to our pattern. Now you can also increase the horizontal movement and increase the vertical movement. Because we're using a corner point for the reference point, you'll find things are moving in interesting ways. Now I'm relatively happy with what I'm seeing here. I just want to see something that doesn't look like rows and rows of similar size shapes. So I'm going to click OK. And now we're going to turn this from multicolored into a single color. So again, with everything selected, we're just going to double click on this question mark here and just go and choose our color. So I'm going to do a sort of hot pink here. We're ready to make our pattern now, so I'm going to hide the artboard because that's just going to be in my face. So I'm going to view hide artboards. I still have all of my shapes selected, so I'm going to choose Object, Pattern, Make. Click OK. Let's bring our pattern dialog in. Let's close the swatches. We don't need that right now. Now you'll see that there are lines around this pattern. That is because Illustrator is just trying to line everything up. It's too far apart for us, and there's a few other things wrong. Ideally, you want your width and height to be whole numbers, and it's a really good idea if those numbers are divisible by 2. It's less likely to cause problems in your pattern. So what I'm going to do is just make these whole numbers that are divisible by 2. And I'm going to close them up so that I don't see seams so much along the edges of my pattern. If I turn my tile edge off, I'll be able to see really clearly if I've got an edge, and I'm not seeing where that edge is right now. So I also need to change the height here because that one I can see. So I'm just going to bring that in so that I'm seeing less and less of any possibility of an overlap. But I'm going to make this also a number that's divisible by 2. Now we can double check our pattern by just zooming out. And that will let us see if there are obvious flaws in the pattern. Now I'm seeing some slight lines here. That may or may not worry you. Let's just increase it to a 9 by 9. So this is what 9 of those panels look like lined up. So this is ultimately what our pattern's going to look like. But a pattern is always going to look repetitive. If you make it small enough, everything is going to look like it's got lines through it. So don't worry about that. You can see these very obvious repetition of shapes. You're always going to see that in a pattern. What you want to do is have a look at a sort of reasonable size and say, do I have problems? Do I have something that's really, really obvious? Now you might say that this is obvious. Let's show our tile edge. This is the tile area here, and this is the thing I'm looking at. So I might just zoom in here and move a couple of shapes in to fill up this area. So by zooming in and out and selecting objects that are within the tile edge, you should be able to fill in any really obvious gaps. Now, right now I'm pretty happy with this pattern, so I'm just going to click Done. Now over here in the swatches panel is our pattern, but this pattern doesn't have a background. So I want a version that does have a background. So I'm going to click on the pattern here and drag and drop it onto the plus icon. And then I'm going to double click it to open it up again in the pattern make dialog. I'm going to turn my tile edges on. That's really important so I can see what I'm doing. I'm going to click on the rectangle tool. I'm going to fill it with a gradient and then a solid color, because you can't choose a solid color from a pattern, so you just need to go through that gradient step first of all. I'm selecting black as my color. I'm going to click in my document. I'm going to make a rectangle this exact same size, 1260 by 746. Now I'm going to place it behind everything with Object Arrange and then Send to Back. And then I'm going to move it so that the pattern reappears and I don't see these lines through my pattern. I'll also want to zoom into the edges here so I can just check and see that things are not being cut off by this rectangle. So I'm going to check around the edges of my design. I'm not seeing any cut off shapes, so I'm pretty happy with that. So I'll just click Done. I'm going to bring my artboards back with View and then Show Artboards. I'm happy enough that I can recreate this, so I'm just going to delete it. If you want to, you could just move those shapes out of the way. And now I'm going to make a rectangle that is the size of my artboard. In my case, that was 1000 by 1000 pixels. I'm going to square it up on my artboard. I have the fill selected. Going to the swatches panel and let's just choose the swatch that we just created. I'm going to resize it with Object Transform Scale. I'm going to bring it down to about 50% of its original size, and I'll just click OK. And now what I want to do is to recolor it. So I'm going to the Recolor Artwork dialog. I'm going into Advanced Options. Because I used black, black is not able to be remapped right now. So I'm just going to click here to add this color here and make sure that there's a little arrow. That means that when I go to the edit panel, I can recolor everything, the pink and the black. So let's just go and see what's happening here. I'm going to unlock my colors. I'm going to end up with two colors here. So this one is actually the working one and this one is doing nothing. So I'm just going to right click it and remove it. And so now I can choose the colors I want to work with. When you find a color combination you like, just click OK. It'll be saved as a pattern in the swatches panel, so you don't have to do it. You've still got the original and you've got this newly colored version. Now you can go back again and recolor this. Again, into Advanced Options. This time both colors are editable, so we'll go into the Edit panel and we can select different color combinations. I'm just going to unlock these so I can make different choices. So you can put light on dark or dark on light. So it's fairly easy to create this terrazzo pattern. You don't have to have as many shapes as I've got. You could remove a whole lot more and have a much more spaced out pattern. It's all up to you to determine what you like, but this is a terrazzo pattern created in just two colors and without having to draw a single shape. If you like carefully researched content like this, clearly presented in a step-by-step format so that you can get great results, then you'll love my Skillshare content. I'm a Skillshare top teacher. I have hundreds of short courses on Skillshare that you can access along with thousands of other great courses, all for the price of a single subscription. If you're interested, there's a Skillshare coupon for you in the description below to use to sign up. Using this coupon benefits me as a creator, and it helps me continue to make free content available here for you also on YouTube. Thank you for joining me for this video tutorial. On the screen now, you'll see a video that I've hand-picked for you. If you enjoyed the video you've just watched, I know that you're going to really enjoy the one I've picked for you to watch next.